So this question that I got in my email, he goes, question, what do I do when a girl asks, what are we? So that's the subject line. And then the actual message that this guy messaged to me, he goes, Casey, how do you answer the what are we question that a girl gives? And then he puts parentheses interest test. Now, this right here is actually a damn good question because this is going to happen to virtually every single one of you, especially if you start sleeping with a girl and especially if she's slightly catching feelings. So what you have to remember is that if a girl is willing to sleep with you more than a couple times, she is going to start to build an attachment towards you. And she's going to start to build an attachment towards you because all of those thoughts and feelings and emotions of her consistently seeing you are going to start to come into play. Now, here's where this gets interesting because what you got to, like, this is such a good question because that one question, I can take this at so many different angles that a guy has to know and that a guy has to understand, because if you answer this one thing wrong, you can instantly notice a decrease in her attraction towards you. You will notice a decrease in her interest. And on top of that, it's going to be harder to actually get her out on more dates. So what I'm trying to tell you is this: if you answer this one question wrong, when she says, what are we? Where do you see this going? What are you looking for a relationship? Do you see this going anywhere with me? If you answer this wrong, you will watch a girl who has an 8, 9, or 10 interest level in you instantly drop to a 4. And if you answer that one question wrong, there's a chance that this might be the last time that you see her. Now, you might be wondering, well, how do you know this? I know this because I've made every single mistake in the book. There's been women in the past that I have lost out on simply by answering this question incorrectly. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to tell you why most men answer this incorrectly. You see, there's going to, when you start seeing a woman, when you start dating a woman, when you start sleeping with a woman, there's going to be a level of chemistry. If you guys have hung out anywhere from probably 4 to 15 hours, you guys have been on consistent dates, you guys are seeing each other, there's now going to be a level of mutual chemistry where you are going to start to get comfortable. When I say get comfortable, what I mean by that is you're going to be one step relaxed, or you're going to be one step less on your guard, because now that you and her are mutually, basically have came to an agreement that you guys semi-like each other, you're going to start to now talk to her like more of an everyday person that you would see. And the problem with that is you run the risk of answering questions logically. What happens is you will forget the fact that you are still talking to a woman who is hypergamous, a woman who only falls in love when she sees a discrepancy in sexual market value between you and her, and you are still talking to a woman that is guided by her emotions. The problem is that when insert whatever name you want to insert. Maybe her name's Sarah, maybe her name is Jessica, maybe her name is Amanda, maybe her name is Karen. Insert maybe her name is Stephanie. Insert whatever name into that woman you choose. Here's what's going to happen. The first few dates or the first few times that you see her, your brain is still thinking, oh, this is a girl I'm seeing, meaning I need to be on point. I need to be on my masculine frame. I need to be bringing the right energy. When you start to get to know her as a person or as on a personal level, you now associate her with her identity and who she is. Now all of a sudden I'm talking not just to a girl, now I'm talking to Sarah. Okay, I know Sarah personally. I know Stephanie personally. Now there's mutual interest. Here's where things go south. And I know I'm long-winded with this, but stick with me, because if you answer this question wrong, it is not going to turn out well for you. When you start to get to know her on a personal level, your brain almost turns off of game mode, if you will, of having the right verbal game and being in frame. And now you start to answer things logically. So when she says, what are we, or where do you see this going? Most men, what they do, because you're not on guard, you have lowered your guard because now you know her on a personal level, you answer it truthfully. So what happens is guys will say, hey, or they tell themselves, if I like this girl and she clearly likes me, she's sleeping with me, she's seeing me, I can say whatever I want to her. No, you can't. And I'm going to explain why. What guys will do, especially if you like the girl, or especially if you see this as there's mutual interest, you guys have the same passions, you guys have the same hobbies, you guys let's say maybe you both like to eat at the same restaurants, whatever the case may be, like whatever, you'll say, oh yeah, I'm possibly open to dating you. Or guys are going to answer it truthfully. You're going to say, yeah, I think you're a cool chick. I'm open to going the distance with you and seeing where this plays out. Or some guys, if you like the girl, you just answer it logically and truthfully. You're like, yeah, I could see myself dating you. And right there, what you're going to notice in that split second, you have royally fucked up. You have royally fucked up because you're going to watch that woman all of a sudden understand your interest and understand your engagement level. When a woman knows your interest and when a woman knows your engagement level, when a woman knows your interest level towards her, you have now lowered your sexual market value. You see, before, and I'm going to explain why this is. Women ask questions subconsciously without even realizing it. They are gauging your interest, and as they're gauging your interest, the questions that they are asking you, depending on how you answer them back, will dictate their interest and their investment level, and I'm going to explain why. The first thing that you need to know, and I don't care how tall you are, I don't care how much money you make, I don't care what you do for a living, none of that bullshit. A woman only falls in love when there is a discrepancy in sexual market value. What I mean by that is when she looks at you, she gets the vibe that she won. She got the better end of the deal. If there's anything that I want you to take away from this video today, is that I want you to take away this one snippet at least. Women always want to feel like they got the better end of the deal. She wants to feel like she had to work for what she wanted. She has to feel like this guy is a catch. So you could be an NBA player for the Lakers. You could be an NBA player for the Chicago Bulls. If you commit too quickly, if you give too much certainty, if you say, yes, I could see you being my girlfriend. Yes, I could see you I could see myself dating you. I could see myself committing to you. I could see myself building a future with you. If you say any of that shit and you answer it truthfully, I don't care if you're a professional NASCAR driver. I don't care if you are a professional basketball player. I don't care if you're a rapper. I don't care if you're an NBA player. I don't care if you're a rock star. You will now run the risk of her interest dropping because there is less of a discrepancy between what your perceived sexual market value was and now what it actually is. Before, she looked at you with a guy with super high sexual market value, and there was a big discrepancy between how she psychologically categorized you and how you actually are. Now, all of a sudden, when you answer that truthfully, watch that interest drop. The same woman, the only difference between you when you answer that question and you previous is her psychological perception of you. Before, she looked at you differently. Since women are all emotional, their attraction is oftentimes gauged based off of that man's interest and investment level. And the more interest and investment that you show, the more she is going to start to pull back from you because she wants to feel like she can do better. This brings me to the last segment of this video. Notice I said when you lower that psychological perceived value in her eyes, she is going to feel like she can do better. This stems into hypergamy. Hypergamy is a feeling. Women want to date a man, or women date across and up, and oftentimes it's up. She wants a guy who she looks up to. She wants a guy who has a higher perceived sexual market value than her. This is how a woman falls in love. Well, guess what? When you answer this question incorrectly and you say, I will commit to you, or I will be your boyfriend, or yes, I would like to go the distance with you, if you do this too quickly, without her trying to earn it, without her asking repetitively, or without giving you an ultimatum, she's now going to start to lose respect for you, and I'm going to let you in on a little secret. She can't help it. She can't help it. She's not trying to be spiteful. She's not trying to be rude. This is wired into her biology. This is wired into her subconscious, and this stems into hypergamy. All of a sudden, hypergamy is less satisfied, okay? As it's less satisfied, she now starts to get an internal feeling that she can do better, and now she wants to work for a different guy's approval. And see, this is where guys get really pissed off and really confused because they go, you know, I make all this money. I have all the boxes checked. I did everything right. And you know what? I thought I was at a point in life where I could commit to a woman, or I could basically go out on dates and I could just speak my mind and be how I wanted to be. And guess what? That couldn't be further from the truth because now she's going to pull back. This all stems into hypergamy. So if there's one thing that I want you to take away from this video today is that number one, It is always your job to satisfy that hypergamy and make sure that she continues to respect you and look up to you. Number two, a woman only falls in love when there is a discrepancy between your sexual market value and hers. And number three, to put this into easy to understand terms, a woman never wants a man who is won over too easily. So for those of you at the end of the video, there's going to be one burning question that a lot of you have. The burning question that a lot of you have is going to be, well, Casey, when the hell can I actually commit? Casey, when the hell can I look at her in the eyes and say, baby, you're my girlfriend? I'm going to tell you. You can only do that when she repetitively asks for it. If you're consistently sleeping with her, if you're consistently seeing her, you're going to want to make sure that there is a delay. So that way she's reaching a threshold where she either has to really make a decision and express to you verbally and directly, and instead of covertly, how women typically talk in code almost and beat around the bush and answer questions very indirectly, you now want to get her to a point where she asks you straight up. Okay, you want her to switch to overt communication. And the overt communication is, will you be my boyfriend? Or I cannot keep seeing you anymore unless we are dating. Or my feelings are so strong, I need to have you. Okay, you need to get her to that point, which means if she's not at that point yet of overtly asking you to be hers or to be exclusive with her, the only way you answer that question, and let's bring it back to the end of it right here. When he says, Casey, how do you answer the question, what are we? Which is an interest test. And I like how he put in parentheses, he knows it's an interest test. That means he's been watching my content. He knows that my content is the #1 dating content for men right now on the internet. And on top of that, let's just wrap this up. How do you actually answer the question? You say, I just like to take my time, or I like to see where things go, or I don't like to rush to see things play out. You answer it indirectly. You do not necessarily tell her where you stand. You say, potentially I'd be open to it in the future, but I just like to take my time. I like to see how things play out. I like to see how things go. And you tell her truthfully, I'd like to get to know you more first before I make any decisions like that. You tell her that you weigh your options carefully. And if she says, are you seeing other women? You say, yeah, I want to make sure that before I make the decision of committing to a woman, I want to make sure I make the right decision. So what did that do? It allowed you to remain a mystery. She's now going to probably work for your approval more. She's going to be sweeter towards you. She's going to text you good morning. She is going to probably bring you food from time to time, and she's going to consistently ask when I can see you, because she is trying to earn that girlfriend spot. Okay? As she's trying to earn that girlfriend spot, she wants to work for it, because now that discrepancy in sexual market value has grown. She will consistently respect you, and now she feels like she is with a man that is actually worthy of respecting due to the fact that he was not won over too easily. So to conclude this video, this is all psychological. This has nothing to do with your bank balance or how tall you are or how good looking you are. A woman falls in love up here. And if you can get her emotions wrapped up mentally towards one specific guy, you have won that woman's heart. And that is exactly how they fall in love. If you like this video, hit the like button. I also want you to go down below and hit the description, because I'm going to put like the email if some of you have questions. The email where I read these in the morning and then I pick which ones I want to answer. But I'm going to tell you this. If you're going to email me, make sure they're damn good questions. Make sure they're not long-winded of 6 paragraphs of a bunch of crap that makes it hard for me to comprehend and hard for me to answer, and actually be concise with your speech and direct with your intent of what you're asking me. The clearer you are with your intent of what you are actually asking me, the better of a reply that you're going to get. We'll see you in the next one.